A very good morning, students. In today's session, I would like to explain a brief procedure which is involved in the titrations of potentiometry and conductometry. So first of all, we start the potentiometry. Under these potentiometric titrations, particularly redox titrations. So come to the point, the principle in potentiometry involved is generally the method of analysis in which we can determine the concentration of an ion or the substance by measuring the potential developed when a sensitive electrode is immersed in the solution of species which are to be determined. The principle of this potentiometry is generally make use of a pair of electrodes. The pair of electrodes are reference electrode, particularly calomel, and indicator electrode, particularly platinum electrode. So whenever both the electrodes are placed in the sample solution, it shows the potential difference by the addition of the titrant or by the change in the concentration of the ions. Come to the potentiometry, particularly redox titrations. And what do you mean by potentiometric titration? First, it has to be defined. So in simple words, it is an analytical technique in which the endpoint is determined by measuring the changes in the potential of suitable electrode during the course of reaction. So under these titrations, we have three kinds. They are acid-base titrations, redox titrations, and precipitation titrations. So we move on with redox titrations under potentiometry. Come to the redox titration. Here this titration is generally a laboratory method for determining the concentration of a given analyte by causing a redox reaction between the titrant and the analyte. For example, consider a titration method of ferrous ammonium sulfate which is treated against potassium dichromate. So this is a sample diagram which shows the titration of a ferrous ammonium salt and potassium dichromate, and it is carried out by taking potentiometric measurement. So under potentiometry we have make use of two electrodes, namely platinum and calomel electrode. Both are connected to the potentiometer and the electrodes are placed in a solution, that is a ferrous salt solution here, and from the burette we have added the potassium dichromate solution. Come to the procedure. It is very simple procedure. Particularly, a known volume of a ferrous salt solution, say 10 ml, is placed in a beaker, then followed by the addition of 20 ml of distilled water and then on 10 ml of sulfuric acid. Now the indicator electrode and reference electrode are inserted in the solution and note the E cell reading. Then the change in the potential is noted for each addition of the titrant, that is the potassium dichromate, which is added from the burette. The change in the potential is small at the initial but is very large at the end point is noted. Say to the ferrous salt, potassium dichromate is added from the burette, so it gets oxidized from Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus. The end point of the titration is obtained from the plot of the volume of titrant versus delta E by delta V and against the volume of titrant added. So from the graph, the maxima of the curve is said to be an end point. So it is the graph. Two graphs are to be plotted, and on the x-axis I have taken the volume of potassium dichromate consumed, and on the y-axis EMF is at one graph, and the other graph the y value indicates delta E by delta V. So from the graph, the maxima of the curve is to be noted as an endpoint. So this is what the procedure of potentiometry. And come to the advantages. These titrations provide more reliable data than the general titrations that are used under chemical indicators. And this technique is very useful with colored or turbid or diluted solutions. The mixture of components can be titrated easily from this method, and it is very inexpensive and more accuracy. And in this method, reference electrode potential need not to be known. And finally, there is no need of indicators. So these are the advantages of a potentiometric titration. Now come to the second concept, that is conductivity and conductometric titration. First of all, we look after the main terms of conductivity concept, that is a conductance. Conductance is nothing but the ease with which the ions can easily flow in the electrolytic solution is called an electrical conductivity, or said to be conductance. The unit for the conductance is ohm inverse or mho. Next, specific conductance. So here it is the conductance which is due to all the ions present in the 1 centimeter cube of electrolytic solution. So 1 cubic meter of electrolytic solution. Generally it is denoted by letter K, which is noted as a kappa. Here the unit for specific conductance is ohm inverse, centimeter inverse. And third one is molar conductivity or molar conductance. So this conductance is due to the all ions present in 1 mole of electrolytic solution. A unit for molar conductivity is mho centimeter square per mole. So it is denoted by a letter mu. So these are the general terms which are used in concept of conductivity and conductometric titrations. Come to the conductometric titrations. Here it is a general titration which is used to measure the amount of an analyte present in the given solution by measuring the change in conductance as a function of volume of the titrant. Here the conductance of the solution majorly depends upon the categories. They are the mobility of ions and the number and charge on the free ions. Under conductometric titrations, we are moving with acid base titrations, and these acid base titrations involved in further cases. They are the combination of strong acid versus strong base, weak acid versus strong base, strong acid versus weak base, and finally weak acid versus weak base. So come to one by one. First category, strong acid versus strong base. So in this case, the graph we obtain, that is similar to the diagram. Here on the x-axis, volume of alkali or base is to be taken, and on the y-axis the conductance from the meter is to be taken. So we get the endpoint. So from the endpoint we can say that the fall in the conductance is due to the replacement of high conductivity hydrogen ions by poor conductivity of sodium ions. So in simple words, the rise in conductance is due to increase in hydroxyl ions. And the second case, weak acid versus strong base. So this is the similar diagram for the combination, and in this the initial decrease in the conductance followed by increase due to the presence of NaOH. So that means a steep rise due to the presence of NaOH. And come to the third case, strong acid versus weak base. It is a similar diagram. Here in this case, the beginning of the titration, before the weak base is added, the conductance is high due to the presence of high mobile hydrogen ions. So when the weak base is added, the H plus is replaced by the base, so that decrease in the conductance continues till the equivalent point occurs. Next, come to the final case of weak acid versus weak base. Here it is a diagram. So here in this case, at the beginning of the titration, before weak base is added, the conductance is low due to poor ionization of an acid. But very soon the conductance increases on adding the base, as it neutralizes first, then undissociated acid to base, which is the highly ionized salt. After the equivalent point, the conductance remains same because weak base is present and it do not dissociate. So far, after neutralization, the conductivity do not increase. So these are the 4 cases under acid base titrations. And come to the advantages and disadvantages of connectometric titrations. Come to the advantages first. It do not require the indicators because a change in conductance is measured by the meter generally, and which is suitable a method for colored solutions too. Since the endpoint is determined by graphical means, so it gives accurate results, and it is used for the analysis of turbid solutions, weak acid combination, weak base combination, and of course a mixture of combination. And come to the disadvantages. Here the disadvantages are increased level of salts in the solution, that makes the conductivity changes. So in such cases it do not give the accurate results, and the application of these titrations to redox systems are very limited. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of connectometric titration. So this is the particular brief explanation about potentiometry and connectometry procedure. So if you have any doubts, please contact. Thank you.